Okay, I'll take my hood off. Good, it's cold, but it's cold. Um, Arisa's hood is up too, so this is always a good sign. We're all just bundled. Um, Excuse me, I have the hiccups. Okay, we have sort of deadlift shapes today. And we just discussed we're going to be doing single leg variations as usual. But we are going to start with some side planks. The knee tucks here, and I'll demonstrate them shortly, are really meant to be our bonus. So if a side plank is all you can do, or a plank hold, belly button down, is all you can do, totally fine. But the knee tuck is a lovely bonus if we can do that. We're doing 8 per side. For doing knee tucks, if you're doing a plank hold, we're looking at like 20 to 25 seconds per side if you're doing a side plank. We have plank down dogs, so it just might be a nice stretch. Hamstrings, back, shoulders, a gentle stretch. We're doing 8 of those. And then 10 glute bridges just to open up the hips. You feel free to add in any prehab, rehab business in this combo. For the bulk of our work today, or the higher skill stuff, we have a little complex. We're doing 5 reps per leg. 1 rep is a single leg deadlift, right? Into a reverse lunge step, which I'll demonstrate. So we're kind of combining 2 different things. They both have a balanced demand depending on how you approach this, and your weight may vary, right? And the way you carry your weight will change a little bit as we change position. And then finally, we're doing, oh, you're repeating, sorry, repeating that 3 times. And then finally, we have 3 times through, 8 per side. We have bent over rows. Again, discuss variations depending on equipment choices that you have. 8 push-ups and 8 goblet squats. Okay. If there are no questions for those currently present, let's just start with some cat-cows. Loosen up. Or if you're cold, maybe we're just getting out of our cocoon stage if you've been in bed, which I completely empathize with. Oh, hairband. Oh yeah.
Okay, Coach Kirstie.
Yes.
Number one voted core strength move for runners as explained at the strength sessions at Endurance Exchange, or like was universally like yes. Uh uh Bird dogs
I like
was
a bird dog.
was like if your runners aren't doing one thing you can get your if you can get your runners to do one thing
Yeah.
consistently and well, it will drastically improve their running. Core and glute get basic core and glute engagement and getting that opposite side
Right.
connection engaged.
That makes a lot of sense.
I love them.
I think it's
You love them.
I'm a big fan. I overlooked bird dogs for a long time, right?
Yeah. Like these are
Um,
dumb. They don't do much. And it's like, no, they actually do a lot.
yeah, I was sort of, and I say, I mean, I'm not old, but I was sort of, relatively young and ignorant. Like, I'm too good for this, right? Like,
Yeah,
I'm
this is
enough. I don't need bird dogs, I say to myself. And the truth of the matter is, they're incredibly helpful for balance, pelvic, like just overall proprioception of the body. Um, I really love, I mean, we don't have the option here, but like a bird dog row. So using a full bench and doing rows from a bird dog position,
mm.
that's a lot of fun. It can kind of create a higher balance demand. And I don't know, it's all good stuff. Big fan. Um, and since we're going to be using, speaking of opening the hips and such, we have a Nikki Brown. Do you want to say hello?
Mm.
No,
Morning, Mr. Mickey Brown.
it's not verbal yet, but he says hello. You might get a pom pom shortly. There you go.
Ooh.
Um, we're going to open up the hips a little bit. So I know we just did the internal external rotation drill, which is great. We're going to be a little more intentional as well, or add on to this. So we're going to continue with a half kneeling position. So that's right, taking a knee. You may pad the bottom knee. The leg that's down, in this case, my right. I'm going to go ahead and just start by squeezing my right butt cheek. That's it, right? I'm not shifting it forward. I'm just squeezing it so that my hips open, right? If you tend to fall into the position, then maybe we're just staying neutral. Okay. I tend to be back, which is why I squeeze my butt. From here, if I feel comfortable, then I might lean forward. But that lean comes from my hips. Not, I know my sweatshirt's big, but it does not come from a rib cage, right? It's coming from hips. I'm not moving the ribs a ton. So my shifting is not going to be a lot, but I'm getting a nice, gentle stretch from my hip basically down to my knee, right? Which is quite nice. If you feel comfortable, we're going to go ahead and do the opposite. We're going to shift my right hip behind me, extend gently my left hamstring. If you need yoga blocks, you can use yoga blocks. We'll do this 2 more times. So we'll do this we'll make sure we do 3 per side. So butt is squeezed. That lean forward's a bonus. It's not a requirement. And a gentle hamstring stretch of your opposite leg. So in this case, my left leg. I keep a little bend of my knee here. Personally, you don't have to lock the joint. You can, but my knee isn't straight. I just don't tend to do so. That's just my personal choice. It's not a matter of taste. Please don't pull a hamstring. Takes like 8 weeks to heal, minimum. It's kind of annoying.
Oh, yeah, no, more like 6 to 8 months. Just kidding.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
minimum just,
that's a carrot, sorry.
no, yeah, strain, not tear. So we'll switch sides, right? Same
By the way,
thing.
that's why I mute during yoga is because there's a lot of, oh, yeah.
How does that work with the breathing in through your nose and out through your nose situation?
Well, sometimes you just grunt then, or it's like more like,
We're doing 3 per side. And it's okay to recognize a side that is, I don't know, just feels different. They certainly have, I think, confirming what I already know. But there's a side that feels different than the other. Okay, let's go ahead. And we're just actually continue with, we haven't done these in ages. Arm circles. It's been forever. At least I feel like it's been forever. When I do this, I can't do this seated on my feet because I hit the ground with my fingers. So I need to do this tall kneeling. You could do it standing. But I want to go 10 arm circles per direction. So thumbs are pointed up, kneeling, standing, whatever you need to do. Gradually make those circles bigger to whatever you can tolerate. You have 10 in one direction, We'll reset to at least 90 degrees or a little lower if we need a little bit of reprieve. Same thumb position, opposite direction. Yeah.
And then the killer. We're doing the killer.
You can go forward and backwards first, kind of set the arms. We'll do the
I
killer.
think
I like to do that one last just to kind of like,
yeah.
I don't know, not save the best for last, but we don't have to go ham right away. Go across. Give yourself a little hug. If you're in a tight space, it's okay to obviously accommodate the room or the space you're in, the people you're around. Good. And then let's go ahead and do our thumbs down variation. So I know we were kind of skipping a few steps, but that's okay. Bring our thumbs down. This one is not so bad, at least comparatively for me. You may take a break. Right, so I'm going forwards, my thumbs, or my hands, my thumbs pointed down. We're going thumbs down backwards or the opposite direction of what you started with. Always
Oh,
small. Yeah. Especially early in the morning.
yeah.
Like after it's done, it feels great, but in the moment, it feels rude. But it's okay. It's tolerable. We have side planks. And the side plank is a bare minimum, or I would say bare minimum. It is it's an option. We can do a plank hold if that needs to be the case. But if we can do a side plank, right, you may use a, sorry, I think my computer's uneven, not the yoga mat, debatable. So what we have here, I want the shoulder over the elbow. Um, you may have your legs straight or bent for this one. And we're trying to, right? You can make a fist with your bottom hand, if that helps to kind of create just a little extra tension in a good way, stability. I like to kind of have my feet staggered, although that's up to you. I just don't like my ankles touching. That's just my own deal. So I'm going to get my shoulder over my elbow. I'm going to engage this right lat here. And I'm going to push down and lift my hips. So this is step one. So we're just telling you can do this, whatever you like to do with this top hand. If you feel like, hey, you know what, that's pretty good. Maybe extend the arm. I'm extending it that way. And then we'll be doing 8 of these. If this is too much and you want to do the knee tucks, bend the bottom knee. The side plank becomes less challenging, but you could still bring the knees towards you. It's okay, you're not touching. We don't want the hips dropping as a result. Let's do 8 per side. Or if you're doing a hold, let's do about 20 to 25 seconds of a side plank hold per side. Is it okay not to face me the entire time? I'm aware that's not a possibility for everybody. Once you have your 8 per side, so that's right and left. With the knee tucks, you're planked down dog. So probably a bit like yoga, but less flowy, at least for me is saying. So be in a plank shape, right? And then just a nice stretch through the shoulders. And back to that plank. You can add a push-up, congratulations, but really we're just looking for a little core stability, a nice stretch of that system. And I want to go ahead and have you do 8 of these.
We could add a push up, but they're coming. I saw them.
Yeah, there's push-ups coming. So there are push-ups later. It's not that you couldn't do more, but if that just feels good, because maybe that's where you're used to, by all means. Once you have 8 of these, that includes the plank position, the hips above, moving backwards, We have 10 glute bridges. You can add weight to these by adding a dumbbell or kettlebell to your hips, although that's not necessary. It's just a bonus if you feel inclined to do so. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and stick with good old-fashioned glute bridge. So, be planted, brace your belly, squeeze your butt before you lift. 1, 2, all right, I'm doing 10. Feel like single leg variations, cool, but they're not necessary. If you're going to do single leg, please do 10%. Otherwise, we're just getting our glutes to fire, or maybe recognizing that they're not firing. That's also fine. At least we know. Good. Once you've completed your glute bridges, you've done one set or one round. You have two more. You're going to start back at your side plank knee tucks, um, and moving at your own pace. Imagine this is what a starfish looks like doing a side plank. Well, starfish was doing ab work. That's kind of what it feels like. Once you have your side plank knee tucks on both sides, you're going to go ahead and do your 8 plank to down dog. I was gonna say I'm happy with an up dog if anyone just can't help themselves, because obviously I get it. I understand. My back doesn't do that. The shape an up dog requires. It does, but it takes. And Joseph, I would show up if I weren't already working.
No, you're at work at 5 a.m. on Monday.
I do work at 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. So, unfortunately, I'll never join a group ride on a weekday or yoga on a weekday unless there's special circumstances. Good. Good. Nice. Everyone's on their third and final set of these. I feel like we should insert the Jeopardy question song. I'm kidding. You guys are doing great. All these tend to kind of flow pretty well together, but it is okay to stop or rest between movements. Continuous movement here is not implied. It's nice, but it's certainly not a given. So you can have a soft knee bend as your head and hips move backwards. That can give the hamstring a little more emphasis. A locked knee is not required to stretch a hamstring. Or if you're hypermobile in your knees, don't lock them. I know it sounds funny, but if you're diagnosed hypermobile, try not to lock out your joints or your knees. Good work. We're all kind of finishing up final reps of the glute bridge.
I don't know why, but in my sofa strewn with dark jackets, my one bag of bright orange wrapper rice crackers seems
You
to.
can see those. I love those crackers. Are they the Japanese kind or the? I feel like there's a few variations of the same thing, right? These rice crackers with,
The family size, yeah, I think they're
yeah,
the
but with like the sweet, salty
yeah, sweet and
on it.
salty. Um,
Love those things.
from Tokyo Central, which is opening at the end of the month in Emeryville. Those are from Southern California.
I mean, I usually, I don't know. I mean, we just go to South City, like South San Francisco. We usually have pretty good luck because we live obviously opposite side of town. Get a pretty decent option there too. Um, but they're salty and tasty. I wish they were better on a bike ride, but they don't handle very well. They tend to crumble. So I've tried. I'd rather just snack on them on my couch. It's better that way. Um, okay, my friends. Um, what we have next, right, I say complex. All that means is we're doing two movements for which will equate to one rep. Okay, so you're doing five of these per side. Um, there's a single leg Romanian deadlift, followed directly by a reverse lunge step. Okay, so all that means, right? Whether you deadlift with your foot down or up, that doesn't matter. There's going to be a baby transition point. So I'm going to demonstrate both with a dumbbell and a kettlebell, just in case you have either of those things, or something else. So do my best to get my whole body in frame here. So we're going to start with the dumbbell. You can hold your dumbbell, you know, either together or if you tend to hold it kind of opposite or single-handed, that's okay. We can do a quick transition here. My foot's going to be staggered, so I'm going to have my weight like this, and I'm going to keep my body weight, my belly button over my left foot hip complex, right? As I come back to stand, I can keep the weight here or transition it to here. So I've done my deadlift, foot down because I choose to. Lunge, I'm bringing my feet together, so I'm standing up. Same leg, step back, right? Kickstand, hands down. Step back, stand up, feet together. So my range of motion increases with the lunge. And the feet are just doing a little two-step, right? So if we're transitioning from a single leg lifted, right? Or, right, we have this guy, foot's up. I'm sorry, my head bounce not very good. So we then to kind of shift it, kind of a two-handed, right? So we're doing five per leg. Your back leg can lift off the ground, especially if that's your preferred method. Um, or if the weights you have are lighter and you're looking for a higher balance demand. The bad knee can touch the ground, that's great. If it can't, that's okay. I just want the best reverse lunge you can do, pain-free. And I don't think it's necessary, but if you feel inclined, you may put, if you stand on a book, you can do your lunge from a deficit position, which means you can lunge deeper, but you don't have to do that part. It's okay to rest between sides or within a set, especially if we're managing a lot of balance.
Yeah, it's a lot of balance.
Huh.
Can I just say, shrimp squats,
Thoughts?
3 days. 3 days of going, ah, or oh,
Yeah, they're hard.
3 days, not one. Like, first day was like, huh. Second day was like, oh, I am going to live on the bathroom now. Because I can't either get up.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
now that I've got myself down, there's not no getting up.
yeah, handicap stalls.
Running was fun. Actually, running really opened it up, but getting started running was like, oh, this isn't gonna work.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah,
But
trim spots
but
are.
it, but it did. But I was like, but it just took. It was hard to believe that that was going to be doable.
Yeah, running and squatting is a nice combo. It's even more interesting that like in the same, I obviously probably unlikely in a track workout, but it's an interesting combination, squats and running in the same workout because the run opens up the hips and then the squats feel better and then you rinse and repeat. Good time. Go ahead and rotate that right hip down a little as you go backwards. Yeah, there you go. I want to recognize anybody with sort of big toe discomfort. Um, we can maybe put the lateral lunge shape, where we step to the side, which is an option. I know it's a little weird, but we can still do a single leg. There's a lot of booty, there's a lot of butt happening. Butt and hips. Yep, good save. Nice job. Yeah, if you feel like you're falling over because your hips are opening, right? Rotate that hip back. So you're gonna square yourself off. Give her a visual. If you're facing a wall, keep your shoulders and hips square to that wall. If the hip starts to turn away, that's when you start to spin out of the deadlift, especially if the foot comes up. Good. You're doing this 3 times through. I do encourage you to rest, even just for the sake of your brain. Good. And I encourage you to experiment and play with your grip positions. I know we're all pretty much towards the end of this, but you can play with where you hold your weight. And you might find you have a preference, and understanding that preference will allow you to add complexity and load. Good. Yeah, that deadlift and lunge combo can be, there can be a pause between the two. And if you're running into any questions, and there's some transition steps that we need to make to do side by side, let me know. Speaking of bird dogs, right? Keep those hips rotated down like you do in a bird dog. Good. I say that unless, of course, you tend to over rotate downwards, but you'll know because you'll still fall over. Are you verbal now? Sort of. Hi. Bye. Just say goodbye.
Maybe.
He's gonna go swim now.
Yep.
Okay. Bye. See you later. Enjoy.
Oh,
Outdoor pools.
Is Brisbane gonna be, when does Brisbane close? Doesn't it close for a couple weeks soon?
It does, but not yet. I forgot he looked up the schedule. When does Brisbane close?
they're closed in February.
In February. Yeah. Probably for February break, I would imagine. Although I imagine it's not a very popular time to swim at the moment.
It's just, I think it's just 2 weeks that they close and clean it
Yeah.
out.
Fair. That's reasonable. Okay, so next we can rest, of course. We have bent over rows. I said 8 per side. If you have a barbell or kind of fixed object, it'd be 8 total. Okay. A couple options for people, depending on what they have available. Of course, the edge of a couch can work, the top of your knee can work. But really what we're looking to do is stabilize the shoulder and use our lats and all that good stuff. So ultimately, right, we can take a weight. I'm using a kettlebell here. I can go hand on knee. I can go elbow on knee. This is nice because elbow on knee kind of adds range of motion and a little difficulty, not in a bad way. This leg is kicked back. My chest is still up. So it's nice and even and square. I'm not tilting downwards. And I think I'm pulling my elbow towards my hip. So when I'm looking at this, I'm trying to keep the back flat, shoulders back, right? And then pulling. I'm not touching the ground. That's not necessary for me. I can go hand on elbow. That feels better. Who knows, right? We're at 8 per side on those. Okay. So that's kind of our first step, right? Hopefully you feel this under the armpit as opposed to, I mean, yes, a little shoulder is okay, but it's not a shoulder exercise. It's a under the armpit exercise. So the neck should stay really long instead of short when we pull. Let's go ahead and start with 8 bent over rows per side. If your weight's really light and you don't have the option or the ability to increase weight, we can slow down the lowering phase. So count to 3. Okay, so add time under tension. You can pause when your elbow's back, right? Good. Imagine squeezing, so whatever arm you're using, right, left, squeezing that shoulder blade to the edge of your spine. So you're gonna feel exaggerated in your setup, right? Once you've completed 8 per side, bent over rows, we have 8 push-ups. Assist them however they need to happen. You can break up those reps if they start to fatigue, but hopefully the first variation we choose, we can probably hopefully do up to or all 8. Nice, Joseph. All 8 of our push-ups. Good. Same thing with push-up. If we need to add time under tension, slow lowering, pausing if you feel inclined. Or we just do, right, whatever you need to kind of make that appropriately challenging. And then finally, your goblet squats, right? Carrying any object, so that could be your kettlebell, your dumbbell, whatever you got going on, right? And squatting 8 times. So carrying your weight, feet or shoulder width. I know you can't see my torso. Here, on the side. Hopefully you can see me dark on dark here. Soft knee bend, sitting back, standing up. Once you completed your goblet squats, it sounds funny. I want you resting for about a minute, even if you don't need it. Okay. So all that means is no weightlifting. You can dance. You can do anything you want. Approximately, I'm not counting, by the way, for 3 people, but approximately a minute. And I will say, if you have the opportunity, I know all of us are at home right now, but if you have the opportunity to increase load, so on the bent over row or on the goblet squats, I encourage you to do so. But I understand if we don't have those weights. Or maybe it's not appropriate. That's okay to not do so. What was that weight you just grabbed, Risa? You made it look very dramatic. I'm not sure if it's dramatic or not, but it looked very.
5 pounds more. Yes, I will try.
Give it a shot. The worst thing that can happen is you don't make all 8, right? Are you doing more of the lungey things or the deadlifts or back bent over rows? You can do more lunges. This is cool. I'm not upset about it. Yeah, nice. So just to clarify for anyone who's wondering, the bent over row style I'm teaching right now is pretty rigid, right? Shoulders are square, shoulder blades are pretty retracted, at least at the start. Um, so pulled back, so an open chest. Think opposite of arrow position, right? Or reaching when swimming. Um, but you can add range of motion. There are other styles and variations of this, so this is not the only way to do a bent over row. It is a way. Um, so feel free to make your choices, but understand your choices first. When resting between things is okay. Good. I don't hear any grunting. I guess that's okay.
I didn't almost fall, so there you go.
I mean, that's good.
It's always good. Whew. Ba-doop, ba-doop.
Nice job. For those squats, imagining sitting to a really low chair, right? Obviously, low is relative to the athlete, right? But low means keeping your feet planted, right? So no toe or heel lift for now. Risa, your bag of cookies or not cookies, rice snacks are staring at me.
They're calling your name? Are they calling your name,
Love
Coach?
them. They're delicious. They're so tasty and salty. You can't stop eating them. It's literally probably why they're made. They're better than Doritos in that way. The Doritos are just salty. These are sweet and salty. For the bent over row, you can also use a bench. I'm aware I used my knee, right? But you can use a bench. You can put your hand on the edge of a sofa to support that working arm. So the arm that would be on your knee, that hand could be on something, I would say, need hip height. And if you're lucky enough, you can use a full bench, but most of us don't have a full bench available. The butt squeeze, I think the pelvis a little tucked and the belly button a little, almost feel like you're doing a hollow hold position or kind of rounded. It's a bit of an overcorrection. So I'm thinking like belly button to the floor, rib cage out. We're thinking more rib cage down. Okay. Good. One more eyes up, chest up a little bit, Arisa. There we go. Yeah. So it's the same thing. If you had a name tag, should see most of your name. And if you need a little more support, you can put your hand on your knee, hand on the bench, or excuse me, sofa, whatever you have available. Nice squats. May adjust your stance. Yes. Good. If you haven't tried the Meg, bird dog rows are a lot of fun.
Yes. I
Uh,
think I've done them once in this, maybe. I don't know.
well, it's hard to do if you need to be elevated, like you need to be on a bench or an elevated, like, or like, or get your
Oh
peak.
yeah, the tonal does them. So
Yes.
with bench and the tonal,
Yes.
there's a move, and that feels really safe and nice. But yeah, and PT,
Yeah.
Sheila.
You need to be
I love
elevated,
that
right?
shit.
Yeah. But unfortunately,
Yeah.
you need to be elevated, right? So
Yeah.
I can't ask people like, go ahead and kneel on your couch. That's unstable. Or like there's no like I can't really think of like a something we have at home that's big enough for a human body and stable. It just doesn't work. So I recommend trying it. And if you do, go much lighter than you think. If you row with 50 pounds, row with like 10. You'll probably fall over first. Okay, my friends, that's it. Done. All done. If you'd like 8 minutes remaining on your day, please, I encourage you to take it. Otherwise, if you're gonna stretch, this is a good time while you're internally warm, or mobilize if that's your method of choice. Otherwise, I wish you moments of peace.